Good day, my name is Lewis with Synth Alchemy, and on this episode of Am I Wearing Pants, we're going to take a look at a website called LALAL.AI. These guys are potential competitors to Suno and Udio, and I actually heard about these guys a while ago, and I even checked them out. Their model wasn't very coherent compared to Suno at the time, although I did take another look at it recently. I do think it has gotten better. There was something I was really excited about that I thought that they were doing uniquely compared to Suno and Udio, but it's not as good as I thought it was, although it is a feature that I think the others should offer. LALALs can generate music with lyrics like Suno and Udio, and they're the only other two that I know of that can do that. I do think there was another one that came out not too long ago, but I'm not going to get into that right now. However, with these guys, you can download the full song, you can download the vocal stem, and you can download the instrumentals. Now, I was under the impression that the vocal stem you downloaded, that they were doing something different, and they were generating the vocal stem separately from the instrumentals. I did take a look at the stems themselves, and unfortunately, they are just separated. And honestly, the quality isn't even that good. So here, you can tell that's a split stem rather than an original stem. And then you can also hear a lot of that fluctuating around the vocal range. So let's go ahead and take a look at some comparisons too. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time listening to like each song. We're gonna go really quick. I did the same prompt in Suno and Udio, a metalcore bass music EDM song featuring female nu metal singing and brutal guitar riffs. We have the same lyrics here that we have here in Suno, which is just going to be the same thing as well. Metalcore bass music EDM song featuring female nu metal singing. Same lyrics. And with Udio, same thing as well. Now, one thing you may know, and I guess this is actually a really cool thing about LALALs, is that it will generate you an entire song, beginning to end. Suno does the same thing as well. Although I'd be curious to know if the song lengths. Okay, this is interesting. Suno does 4-minute long songs, but they're like always exactly 4 minutes. With LALALs, each track are different lengths based on, I'm assuming, just based on what the AI wanted to do as far as the full song structure and everything. And that is actually really good. And I think it is also a reason to be optimistic about their model and how it's different from Udio and Suno. But let's go ahead and do the comparison with the music. So here's, I'm just going to run through and kind of cut through it. The drums sound really good. You know, I almost think that the mix down and the mastering of the track is better than Udio. I think it is. I think these guys are doing something different. That said, I don't think, from my experience, that their vocal melodies and like the way that the vocal does its inflections and everything, I don't think it's on the level of Udio or Suno. I think that it's slightly less coherent, but it is close and it is usable for the way that I use music. But unfortunately, the stems you're going to get out of it are just not perfect, which is what I was hoping for. If they could figure that out, and I thought that's what they're doing, but since they're not, I don't know if anyone is. Maybe Soundful. Let's go ahead and listen to a little more of this. Those drums sound awesome. Okay, go to the next one. So that. So this is LALALs. We're switching over to Suno now. Whoops. All right, we're switching to Suno. Let's check this out. It does. The drums sound good in there. I feel like they were clearer in LALAL's. That sounds like a male. But I have to say, based on my experience, Suno is generally good at knowing when it should do a male or a female voice. Female singer. Yeah, I know. I think on all these, I think LALAL's holds to it even closer, though. And Suno is better than Udio at sticking to the prompt guide as far as male versus female vocals. So I do think it's just chance, dumb luck, that we ended up getting, so far, the only wrong gender on Suno. I generally think they're better at that than Udio. But let's go ahead and check out. I think these ones were accidents. Can't be. Let's go here. Oh, and then of course, I think I touched on this earlier, but Udio only does 2 minute and 10-second long clips. It's the longest clip you can have done at once. I could go and do, add on to it, extend the clips and add an intro and do all these things, but that takes a lot more time. And it's worth knowing that both Suno and LALAL's can do a full song with one generation. That being said, though, I didn't touch on this earlier, but the LALAL's generations, they take a few minutes. It takes even longer than Udio, but you are getting a full song.
Dancing with scoundrels in the night, using up what's left and right. Your silhouette casting a shadow in my mind. My only crime is giving you my heart. You wear your shame like a crown, so proud, while I'm imprisoned by the memories. Your figure.
The vocal track sounds really good and really clear, but I can't even tell what else is going on in this song at all. It's just super muddy. It sounds terrible. Doesn't sound anywhere as good as Suno and LALAL's generations. And I wonder if this has something to do with the lawsuit that's going on with Udio. Wonder if they're changing their model to get it prevent it from accessing certain training materials, so that they're because of the lawsuit. I don't know. But let's check out the other one and see if it's just as bad.
I mean it honestly.
Oh, also important to point out, neither of these are female vocals, and I specified specifically in the prompt female vocals. In fact, let's look at the prompt to make sure. Metalcore featuring female nu metal singing and brutal guitar riffs. So props on LALAL's for sticking to it. I'm surprised Suno didn't. I'm not that surprised that Udio didn't. Let's continue on.
It tears me down inside. I try to hide my pride.
This is one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life. Terrible job, Udio. Let's move on to emo rock, emo pop, alternative rock songs similar to artists like Jimmy Eat World and Early November. And I when I constructed this originally, I used this on Suno, I believe. And you got to use the word similar to artists like. That's basically letting the AI know that you're not trying to sound exactly like the artist, but you want to kind of catch that vibe. And that's how you can, if you want to call out an artist in a prompt, that's a good way to do it. I'm kind of surprised it worked on Udio. I thought they were going to flag it, but they didn't. Let's go ahead and listen to this on LALAL's.
Clocks in my bedroom ceiling, lost in the echoes of my own true feelings. I execute rhythms with perfect precision. A lonely soul outcast who didn't care about where we were at. Dark skateboard.
Very faithful to the emo pop rock sort of genre.
Ceiling, lost in the echoes of my own truth. Back, I won't ever look back. Bring warp toward back, down my hair jet black. We didn't know we were the outcasts. We didn't care about where we were at.
Good. That was really good. I think it nailed the prompt. Not saying it's going to be the best out of all these generations. I'm expecting Suno to beat it fairly easily, and Udio should as well. We'll see. And another thing is that this model Udio has that does the 2 minutes and 10-second generations. That's not necessarily. It's in beta or something. What does it say? Experimental. Let's go ahead and hear. I'm going to play a little more so we can think about LALA's level of quality. It's a low quality bitrate in general, but you can tell it's mixed pretty well. It sounds fairly clear considering. I do think the composition of that is better, but one thing I'm noticing about LALA's is their vocal tracks are very loud and pronounced. I mean, just go back and listen to this. Look at the vocals are really loud and present. Same with this one. And with these ones, the vocals are buried a bit more into the mix, which is probably overall like better, as far as like the engineering side of the audio is going. But if you're like me and you're generating these to then extract the vocals out of it to use it in your project, LALA's actually does have a lot of appeal to me listening to it right now.
Staring at the crash yet. About where we were at. Guitar chords, skateboards, windmills, hardcore.
It's interesting. I originally used this prompt in Suno, and this is before 3.5, I think. But the original generations I was getting were more like, I don't know, what's that really famous emo band? It was more like mainstream pop, emo, pop punk, And this actually sounds kind of like Jimmy Eat World. I would say it does a better job of it's got like an indie emo sound to it. Like the guitar tones, it's not something that most emo bands would do. That would be like more of like I would consider it a more mature taste in guitar tone. Yeah, so let's move on to let's see the emo creations that Udio came up with.
Staring at the cracks in my bedroom ceiling.
See, this has a sort of an indie kind of sound too. There's a lot of other art. It's emo too, but it's like another more of like old school emo, I guess, is a way of saying it.
Lost in the echoes of my own true feelings, I execute rhythms with.
These vocals are really clear. This would be very easy to extract. This would be really good to work with.
Perfect precision. A lonely soul in this suburban division. When I find my path, I won't ever look back. Bring warp toward back. Dye my hair jet black. We didn't know we were the outcasts. We didn't care about.
It almost reminds me more of like Brand New or some old, one of those really big, really good emo bands. Moving on to the next one.
Staring at the cracks in my bedroom ceiling, lost in the echoes of my own true feelings. I execute rhythms with perfect precision. A lonely soul in this suburban division. When I find my pack, I won't ever look back. Bring warp toward back, dye my hair jet black. We didn't know we were the outcasts. We didn't care about.
This is very, like I said, the vocals here are really present. And another thing I'm noticing is, and maybe it's just an Udio thing, but when the vocals are present, not only does do the instrumentals get less present, but they lose a lot of detail and become a lot muddier. I feel like the backing instrumentals in this, even though the vocals are present, yeah, you have a really good clear instrumental.
Look back, bring love to her back, dye my hair jet black. We didn't know we were the outcasts. We didn't care about where we were at.
The mix in LALAL's is so good. Although, what I do want to say about the Udio, as far as with emo, it's in my opinion, this has done a really good job of getting really emotive, and like I think a lot of people who listen to emo would prefer these generations, just because of how good, how sincere it sounds. I don't think the mix is as good as LALAL's, but LALAL's sounds a bit more commercial and cheap, you know. Suno here in this with the emo is kind of in the middle. Whoops. Kind of in the middle. It's kind of artistic but a little commercial sounding. These two are definitely doing a different kind of like section of emo than LALAL's is, but that's okay. Let's move on to the next one. I don't want to spend too much time here. So once again, clear percussion, clear instrumentals. The vocals I don't think they sound as good as they did on the other ones, but I really just want to draw attention to the fact that I would not consider this any of these genres. Maybe a little bit of synth pop, but it's more of like a house, upbeat house, sort of bouncy track. Let's go ahead and listen to this next one. Yeah, this is like Slap House or something. This is not anywhere sticking to the prompt. And the vocals sound quite distorted and fragmented. I wouldn't expect that to translate very well to stem extraction. Now, on this next one, Udio, for some reason, I don't know why, because this is the prompt here: electro punk, electro clash, synth pop, witch house, female singer. This is the genre prompt. And in Udio, it kept giving me a prompt, and I had to switch it from manual mode to not manual mode in order to get it to translate over. I don't know why, but let's listen to this Suno generation. Same prompt again. This already sounds way more like some electro punk, electro clash, synth pop. It's got an electro sound, kind of like. It's definitely more artistic, I would say, than the LALAL's generations. I wouldn't quite push it into some of these genres. Maybe a little bit. Let's go here. This is. Yeah, this is some synth pop. Yeah, that's more like what I was thinking. They did a really good job here of sticking to the genre, I think.
I found the strength to make my mark. Oh yeah. Through the storm I found my way. With a fearless heart I'm here to stay. Won't let anyone put out my fire. Hey.
The thing is, a lot of these aren't 4 minutes long. There was, not too long ago, I was making some tracks and they all turned out to be 4 minutes long. But it looks like they are I think it's just a max of 4 minutes. So if the track would, if it's like a genre that's typically longer, I think it's going to top out at 4 minutes. But a little song like this, it knows it can make it in a fairly short period of time. So I think I want to correct what I was saying earlier. So I hope that helps clear that up. If you're listening and not looking at the video, we're moving on to Udio now to listen to their generations. But again, when I generated this, I had to switch out of manual mode. So it auto-prompted the genre prompts for me. And it looks like they included electric clash, and synth pop. Close enough. It doesn't look like it included the prompt female vocals, so I can't hold them accountable for getting it wrong, which they probably will. But I can tell in this one they didn't. This is actually a great job of sticking to the genre prompt. With a fearless heart, I'm here to stay. I'm unbreakable, unshakable. No matter what they say, I'm unstoppable. With every step, I'm reaching higher. I won't let anyone put out my fire. I think they did a really good job of sticking to the genre. It's sort of like, an 80s synth pop, electro clash sort of sound. Really more retro sounding than modern, but that's fine. I didn't specify either way on that. In the shadows, in the dark, I found the strength to make my mark. Oh yeah, through the storm, I found my way. With a fearless heart, I'm here to stay. I'm unbreakable, unshakable, no matter what they say. Kind of loses me here. I hate when it's just kind of rambling on. I found the strength to make my mark. Oh yeah. Through the storm, I found my way. With a fearless heart, I'm here to stay. Some of it is really incoherent. That part's really good. Overall, though, I would say Udio definitely nailed it with the genre more than the other two. Yeah, interesting results all in all. To me, it really just goes to show that they each have something that's valuable. If you're just generating songs, to put on your YouTube channel and try to get people to listen to your shitty AI music, Suno's going to be the best for you to do it quickly. Udio gives you a little more in-depth control, which you're probably not going to want. LALAL's music AI is probably going to do maybe a better job than Suno some of the time, but Suno's going to pump them out faster. However, if you're like me and you have an understanding of music production in general, and you want to use this in your workflow, there's lots of things that you can do with it, as I've talked about in many of my videos. But I really do think that you're going to find use in all of them. Both Suno and Udio have the ability for you to upload your own music, and they both kind of do it differently. Udio is going to stick very close to your initial upload, and you can use that to, if you have like a clip with a vocal sample in it, you can do whatever you want vocally with it by using Suno in a specific way. Sorry, Udio. With Suno, it's a little different. With Suno, you upload your clip and it's going to sort of just riff off of that, but it's not going to be, you're not going to have very much control in trying to direct it into a specific way that you want it. It's going to be in the same key. It's going to be in the same BPM, but it's kind of just going to run off and do its own thing. And it's going to generate a lot. If you have a small clip, it's going to generate you a whole new song, which is very useful. If that's what you want to do, if you need to come up with a good top line, if you need to come up with a good melody, I think Suno is a lot of times the best thing. Udio is like for when you need something specific. Say you have a vocal track and it doesn't sound as good as you want. You can drop that into into Udio and use the same lyrics from your track and then do a bunch of renders, and eventually you're going to get one where it creates an identical version of your original track that's going to maybe fix some of those errors, and that's one of the ways I use it. And then with music AI, or with LALAL's music AI, I'm gonna play around with it a little more in my workflow, because I do think that I generally don't like the top line melodies and patterns that it comes up with as much as Suno and Udio, but the clarity of the vocals I think is going to make it really easy to work with. And who knows what else. I actually haven't really even looked at what else they have. It looks like they do some voice cloning and AI voices similar to Musicfy. I'm not seeing anything in here about stem separation, other than that they have the vocal stem separation. There's one thing we can do real quick. We're just going to do a test to see how good their stem separation is, because I think Musicfy's is better. Okay, I took that song, took this song. I have the vocal stem downloaded directly from here, which is this one on the bottom. Whoops. This one right here. And then I have the vocal stem. I downloaded this track, and this is something that's really stupid. If you're downloading a full song, I don't see any way to download anything other than an MP3 file. Although it does give you WAV files for these, which is great. But if it turns out I can get a better rip of the vocal stem from another service than this one, then they're really shooting themselves in the foot here, and they're just not giving you the ability to use their service in the best way possible for your workflow. Well, let's go ahead and take a listen. This is the stem separation done from LALAL.AI.
In the shadows, in the dark.
Okay, now that's going to give us actually a lot to tell. Let's see how this sounds compared to it.
In the shadows, in the dark, I found the strength to make my mark. Oh yeah, through the storm I found my. In the shadows, in the dark, I found the strength to make my mark. Oh yeah, through the storm I found my way. With the fearless heart I'm here. In the shadows, in the dark, I found the strength to make my mark. In the shadows, in the dark, I found. In the shadows, in the dark, I found.
Well, there you have it, folks. Musicfy is significantly better at ripping vocal stems than LALAL.AI's. I don't know if you can notice, but there's a lot more artifacts and high-end sort of distortion going on.
In the shadows, in the dark. In the shadows, in the dark.
The Musicfy stem separation just sounds way better. I don't think anyone from LALAL.AI's is going to see this video, but what the fuck are you guys doing? Just let us download the initial WAV file. Let us separate the stems ourselves, producing a better result. If you can't allow us to produce a better result, then you're really devaluing your service for people who want to use it. But anyways, that's all for today. This has gone on longer than I wanted it to. I appreciate you for hanging around, checking out this stuff. To me, it's very exciting, very useful, and I hope you got something out of it. So thank you very much. You have yourself a good evening, and we'll see you in the next one.